Hi Wednesday friends, we're on the move because you might remember last week I was speaking to you about the bird that keeps waking me up at 4:30, 5 in the morning. I think I have to make an apology because I think we can catch a glimpse of him or her, and she is gorgeous. Don't know if you can see it over there. Can you see that? Can you see that? It's not really. I couldn't even see if you could see that because of my phone display. But yes, it is my God bless the NHS bird. All right, let's just close that door, shall we? So, you may remember last week we asked you to, you get a little glimpse in the manse if you haven't been here before. We asked you to create a bird as part of our Pentecost display. Oh, you're over there. Which will, wrong camera, which will go up in Castle Square and, oh dear, St David's at Church House. And so that was my display. I know on the phone it's the wrong way around. Hopefully Bethan swapped it by now. Ta-da! It does look a little bit like a 5-year-old has done it, but hey, out of the mouths and hands of babes. This is a more stylish version. This is Pam's. Tangnebeth, it says. I think if you've got that the right way round, don't worry if not. But yes, it's not too late for you to get your bird input in. Remember, if you are able to create some such beautiful creation, send it to me or get it to my bench or email a photo or scan, that's the one, of it to Marcia, and we'll laminate those, we'll put those up, and they'll be going to some of our Syrian friends with a card to explain it and a gift to wish them Eid Mubarak, a good and happy end to their Ramadan and to the beginning of their Eid celebrations, and to let them know that we're thinking of them during this time, especially as it will be during Refugee Week then. So, that was last week's task, and all about the birds representing like the dove and the wild goose, the Holy Spirit. Because it is Pentecost this Sunday. That time we remember when the Spirit came in a fresh way, not necessarily a new way, we'll explore more of that on Sunday, but in a fresh way to those first disciples of Jesus, giving them the encouragement and energy and insight to share good news to those in that immediate community and to the ends of the earth. And they faced many challenges as they did, not least the fact that they couldn't worship publicly for fear of persecution, for fear of death even, as we know happened and still happens today. Of course, because of the coronavirus, because of the pandemic, we have been faced with some similar challenges, some very different ones, some different blessings. But like many of those first Christians, we're not able at the moment to gather and worship publicly. We worship in other ways. And more on that, I think, next week, of what worship means and how we're doing that. But for now, as we think about the early church and how it was beginning to take shape and reacting to the context in which it found itself, we're going to do the same as two congregations. So, if you're a friend of the church, you can hand back a sec, go and put the kettle on. But those in Castle Square and St David's, we're going to send out a questionnaire this week. We'll go out with a newsletter and sermon. Just 10 or 11 questions, just so that we get some idea of how you're responding to what's going on at the moment, what your thoughts are, what you think we're doing well as a church, anything that we can improve, any other ways we can share a message of good news in our communities, that kind of thing. Who's online, whether you'd like more online services or less of this. I don't think so. But all of that, you'll get a chance to share your opinions, and it will be anonymous, so you can be as honest as you like. Just remember, I've got a big ego and thin skin, so be kind. So that's to come. So this last week, this past, but you can still send it in. Questionnaire future. But what of the present Wednesday question? You ask, you demand, and friends can return at this point. Well, we have seen just how creative some members of the church are in so many ways. We've had I should have showed you Nathan's amazing Photoshop, but I haven't printed it out, so I can't. But it is amazing. I'm sure you'll see it at some point. But we are creative lots. For some of us, that's in words, and some it's in pictures, some it's drama, some it's dance, some it's craft. And during this pandemic, we've seen so many examples of that. And I encourage us today to think of one more. The Spirit is often said to inspire great words. Well, I don't have any of those for you now, but I thought it would be interesting, sort of on the back of Claire's incredible poem, which I know many people have said they appreciated, to do a little bit of poetry ourselves. But hold your horses, as my nan used to say, if you're worried about your poetry skills, because we're going to try a particular kind of poem. It's called a haiku. Many of you will know about haikus already. I was first introduced to the world of haikus in primary school when I was 10 years old, and there was this big nationwide haiku competition, and the winner got to go on a trip to Japan as a 10, maybe 11-year-old then, and have a couple of weeks there and share their example, their having a go at a haiku, and win all sorts of prizes. I mean, my haiku about sycamore seeds was quite frankly astounding. So I have no idea how Alex Bamji in my class, who was a friend, how she won the award and not me. Years of therapy still hurts. So we're going to do a haiku though. So a haiku, it does originate from Japan, and it's a great way of doing poetry in a very, very condensed form. So it doesn't, and in some ways you could argue it requires more skill because you have to try and say a lot in a little. A bit like sermons that only last 10 minutes can often be far, far, far more skillful and insightful and helpful than sermons that last 40 minutes plus. Not that you'll ever have that with me. But it shouldn't take it too long. I think it's something that everyone could have a go at. So I'm encouraging everyone who is watching this now to try a haiku. And I thought we might go for a biblical story haiku. Don't feel like you have to be constrained by that. But I have 3 examples of haikus that I have written. Yes, they are amazing. About Bible stories. So I'm going to read them to you to inspire, and you might also guess the Bible story. It shouldn't be too hard. Okay, so haiku has the first line 5 syllables of however many words. Second line 7 syllables. Final line 5 syllables. 5, 7, 5. So, number 1. Help the enemy. I'd rather be swallowed whole. Okay, God replies. Which Bible story is that? It's a tough one. Okay, next one. Boy and girl have lunch. Share some of mine, says kind snake. Picnic ends badly. And my final one. Nice lad hits the gym. Fights lion. Dates hairdresser. Worst haircut ever. What could they be? What could they be? So that's just a quick example for you of, that's correct, Jonah. And yes, Adam and Eve. Yeah, and sorry? Say Samson? That's correct. And as I say this, I think that's Claire that's just messaged me. So that's it for this week. Have a go at a Bible haiku and share them at the normal places, WhatsApp, the church WhatsApp group, the Facebook group, or dare your friends to give it a go on the phone or by email or however you may do it. Shout across, if your neighbours across the road, you can shout your haiku across the road. I'm sure the rest of the neighbourhood would love to hear that. So, birds, if you haven't done it already, questionnaire, exciting to come. And in the meantime, Bible haikus. And with that, I bid you a good few days. I shall be seeing you or speaking to you Sunday. Keep well, keep safe. God bless.